Hi, Peter Charles here of Hooked for Life Fly Fishing, and today we're going to do an Atlantic salmon pattern by a fly tyer the name of Alain Charette of Quebec, and it's called a Barbe Bleue, which is basically Bluebeard, and when you see the fly you'll understand why. It's, as I say, it's an Atlantic salmon fly, but I think it would work just as well for Pacific and I can never say that word, anadromous species. Because the blue would appeal to any fish that's fresh out of the ocean. So let's get going and looking at the materials. The hook I'm using is a Bartlett salmon in a size 2. My thread is Vivus in a 10-aught black. I'm using a small gold tinsel. And the floss, hot green floss, will be used for the tag. The body is this wine or burgundy colored floss. The throat is going to be that silver doctor blue, I guess you would call it. And we're going to be using squirrel tail, fox squirrel tail for the wing. So let's get going. Bring your thread to just a little bit past the hook point. We'll be tying in our tip here. Now this is just a very small tip, so that's all you're going to need for it. Keep the material underneath. Okay, now we'll just cut that away, cut off the waste. And just bring your thread forward to about, that'll be about the size of the floss tag. Now, when you put floss on over black thread, the problem is you're going to get bleed through. The black will dull this down if you only put one layer. So the way around it is to put 2 layers, which is what we're going to do with this one. That's why I brought my thread forward. Now, get your thread out of the way. Make sure you don't hit the hook point. Put this in touching turns. Trim that off. Now we're going to tie in our rib. We're going to use the same material as we used for the tip. It's just this small oval tinsel. Okay, now to tie in our floss, we're going to make 3 passes with the floss. And the purpose for making those 3 passes is to build up the body so it's a little bit thicker than tag. Also, I'm going to be able to fill in that gap so the body's even. Because one of the things you have happen to you, if you're not careful, is you end up with a body that is got a lump at the back where I've been tying in my materials here. And you notice I've started my floss a little bit in front. And the purpose for that is to allow my first pass to be not on that bump. So overall I'll start filling things in. You'll see as I go here. So I'll stay in front of the bump to begin with. Just come up a little bit on the return, then back. Watch your hook point. This this floss is not the best. I don't know why, but this particular spool has got a lot of ragged ends. But we'll have to just live with it. Okay. Make sure you go right up to the grain. Come back. Come up on the return. As I like to do, I'll double it over to trap it. Few extra wraps to be sure. Now we'll just put in our half hitch and we'll put in our rib. Make one turn at the back and come forward. Again, trap it underneath. Trim it off. Now we use our beard. So you take a, I don't know, a fair sized chunk, close to about a centimeter, a little bit less than half an inch. So you get enough of a barb, and make sure that it's about back to the tag in length. Pinch loop it. Make sure it's on there. Nice and straight. Come in, trim off, clean up. And finally, for our fox squirrel tail, I'm going to stack this. And one of the reasons for stacking fox squirrel tail is to get the barring to line up. Yeah, that looks a little bushy. I'm going to take some of this off. The problem is putting too big a clump of squirrel tail on. It's a slippery, hard hair. So if you put too much on there, it's a good chance it'll pull out. So once I've got my sizing, which is a little bit long, I'll take it to about there, trim it off. Soft loop, then bind it in tight. Now we can whip finish and put on our head cement. Okay, there's our Barbe Bleue all ready to go. As you can see, the body's fairly even. I got a little bit of lump in there, but not too bad. And the tag is not bad at all. Just a little bit of fluff coming up from that wine floss. There's a problem with this particular spool, and as I pull it off, I can see it sort of breaking up. So it's floss is underneath other, earlier layers. So obviously it's not something I've done. It came out of the factory that way, unfortunately. But nevertheless, it's still going to catch fish despite the fact that the floss was not the best. And you can see how I cut down the amount of the wing. I didn't want too much wing, so I reduced it. There's one here that's back to front. There we go. And there it is, ready to go catch some salmon for us. The Barbe Bleue from Quebec by Alain Charette. Cheers.